Welcome to the Kingstonian, a podcast that profiles people who are passionate about what they do for a living, what organization they belong to, or the community they are a part of. Here is your host, Dave Cunningham.
Thank you, Steve. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today we're reconnecting with a returning guest whose story has stayed with many of our listeners. Jamal Saeed first joined us in January of 2023, only a few months after the release of his memoir, My Road from Damascus, a powerful reflection on identity, displacement, and the resilience needed to rebuild a life in a new country. For those who may have missed that earlier episode, we'll begin with a brief look back at the memoir and the impact it has had since its release, both here in Canada and beyond. We'll also take a moment to reflect on the changing landscape in Syria, a country that remains central to his life, his advocacy, and his writing. In this episode, recorded in October of 2025, we turn to something new. Jamal has published Princess Nye and Other Stories, a collection that blends memory, imagination, and deeply human moments, often drawn from experiences few of us can fathom. It's a thoughtful conversation rich with insight and storytelling. So let's get started. Jamal, welcome back to the program.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me in your program, Dave.
It was back in January of 2023 when you and I sat down the first time, and that was just after your book had been published in October of 2022. And the book was called My Road from Damascus. And for listeners who may not know much about that book or heard our podcast back then, can you give us an idea of what that book was about?
Well, actually, My Road from Damascus, in one aspect, is writing the history from below. In the other aspect, it's a kind of memoir for a person, but a person who lives a kind of general issues in his country and interest in the general issues so much, who was activist and who was a political prisoner. I'm speaking about myself.
Yes.
Yeah. The book is a kind of memoir about life in villages, countrysides, or in the cities in Syria or in the prisons in Syria. And it speaks something. The third of the book is about what's happened after the Arabic Spring or what's happened in Syria. But on the other hand, the book is full of stories about childhood, love stories, hope, dreams, moving from Syria to Dubai and then to Canada. These are out of prison and torture and revolution and policy or whatever.
So you left Syria in what year? 2016?
I left Syria in 2014.
Okay.
2014, but to Dubai.
To Dubai.
Yes.
And then?
And then from Dubai to Canada on December 28, 2016.
2016. Okay. So you brought your family over here and you've been here ever since.
Right.
How do you like the winters?
Well, actually, we came to Canada at a cold day. It's December 28th. Mm-hmm. And there's a funny thing. When we were in Dubai airport, I felt that there's a dryer in the sky. And when we get out of Toronto Airport. Yes. Yeah. I felt that we entered a freezer.
It was one of those cold days.
Yes, I think it was minus 20 or 25. I'm not sure, but something like that, yeah.
A different change altogether.
Yes.
Now, for those folks who missed the podcast that we did a couple of years ago, they can go to our website and search for your name, and you'll find the episode, and you can listen to the episode that we recorded back then. And just for those who may be interested, Jamal begins with a J. So Jamal Saeed, and you'll find the episode that we recorded back then about that book in particular. So let's look back at that memoir, and what has the reaction been after it was published?
Well, actually, the friends who read the book, or some people I didn't know before, sent me very encouraging letters. Some people say that we laughed a lot, we cried a lot, We have different attitudes according to different pages or different issues or topics. The friends said that the book was more important than we thought before. One of, in Queen's University, one of the professors told me that if I can do anything, I'll give this book the award of General Governor. And actually, the book was shortlisted for a prize, as you know.
This is the Governor General's Prize.
No, it was shortlisted for
Writers' Trust.
Writers' Trust, yes.
So it was well received in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
So people enjoyed the book and learned from it.
Yeah.
Now, you went to a couple of different places to talk about the book. You went down to Watertown, which for those folks listening who are not from Kingston, Watertown is a municipality that is just south of Kingston, Ontario, on the American side. So you spoke at the library there.
That's right.
So was there a difference in the reaction to the book from an American audience as opposed to a Canadian?
Actually, the people who attended the speech about the book looks like the people who attend, their questions and their reactions looks like the reactions of the people in Whistler and in Toronto and in Ottawa and in Kingston Festival. The same questions, the same interesting. And actually one thing was happened in two places. There were no more copies to sign. Publishers sent some copies to the place, and all the copies were sold. Yes.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
It's good for the bank account. Was there any particular question that was different that you remember from the various speeches that you made about the book?
Well, actually, in Whistler, one asked me about the feeling of departing Syria after 55 years, after living continuously in the country 55 years. And when I told him that I felt that I was like an old tree picked out of its soil, people began to cry. Yeah. And I felt that people sympathized so much, and the question pushed me to write something else. Yes.
Now let's talk a little bit about Syria.
Yes.
One of the things that you talk about in the My Road from Damascus was your time in prison. You spent 12 years, I think was the amount of time you were never charged, never convicted of anything.
Right.
Obviously, you weren't happy living there at the time, and so you made your way from Syria to Dubai to Canada. If you've been following the news, if people listening have been following the news, they know that Bashar al-Assad, whose family ran Syria for years, was deposed and he's moved to Moscow. And he was replaced by a fellow whose name is Ahmed al-Shara. And tell us a little bit about him. Who is he?
Well, Ahmed Shara was born in 1982. At the time, I was in prison. And in one of the worst prisons all over the world. It's Palmyra prison. Ahmed Shara moved to Iraq and fought with al-Qaeda. And then he joined for a short time. He joined ISIS for a short time.
Okay.
And then he moved to Syria in 2011. He was imprisoned in Iraq and then released and then moved to Syria and established Jabhat al-Nusra. The organization was a fanatic or extremist jihadi boys. Yeah. And then he could control Idlib in Syria.
Which is a city, right?
Yes, it's a city in Syria in the north. He made a kind of government there, and the first thing he did was many prisons and killing many fighters. Some people were fighting al-Assad, but were disobedient for al-Shara. They didn't obey.
They didn't agree with him.
He killed a lot of them, and then controlled the area well. And later, and he was wanted. The man was wanted. It was known as al-Julani. Nobody knew his name.
Okay.
Al-Julani, it means the one who is from Golani Heights.
So that was his nickname.
Nickname,
Yeah.
yes. And then he moved from Idlib to Damascus in 8 days. There were not so much battles. Actually, there were, at the time, no battles at all. This is, I think, it's international will to remove al-Assad and bring somebody else. At the time, the strongest military force, or it's a kind of militia force actually,
Right.
belonged to Ahmad Shara, was controlled by Ahmad Shara. He was the head of this militia. Then he moved easily from Idlib to Damascus. In 8 days, he was in the palace of presidency in Damascus. It's called Public Palace. And he became a president.
So he was the head of the best organized militia
Yes.
and the most powerful that was able to come into Damascus and take over from Idlib was the name of the city where he had his power base.
That's right.
And so he basically took over the presidency.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some irony happened. The people came from the south, from Asweda, the Druze of Asweda, and some people came from Daraa, the Sunni of Daraa, and they arrived to Damascus before him. They are militias also, and they are against al-Assad. But he is stronger than them. So when he came to Damascus, after a time, he made Ahmad al-Ouda the head of the militia that came from Daraa, from the south to Damascus. He made him nothing. He had the militia of Ahmad al-Ouda. Then he started to arrange things in Syria. He called himself, with the militias, he gathered all the militias and called himself the president. They elected him maybe as a president. The other people of the other heads or the other leaders of militias became ministers. There are about 21 ministers. All of them are from his organization.
Loyal to him.
Yeah. And actually, loyalty is an important thing, not the ability, not their ability. For example, the defense minister studied agriculture, yeah, and so on.
This sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
It's a case of loyalty, which is more important
Yes.
than ability.
Exactly.
Okay.
This is what is going on.
So he surrounded himself with people who were loyal to him.
That's right.
So that gave him control of the whole country. Well, not the whole country, but a good part of the country.
Yeah, a good part of the country. Actually, he wanted to control all the country. He made a kind of a war in the south and killed a lot of Druze, and he killed a lot of Alawites. And I think he will made a battle with the Kurds.
The Kurds. Yeah.
Kurds.
So in the news over the last few days as we record this, so we are recording this in the early part of October, and yesterday there was, and I am holding up my two fingers to indicate quotation marks, an election in Syria, which wasn't really an election where everyone had a vote. This was basically to put in place a parliament. Is it a parliament? Of 210 people,
Yeah.
70 of whom were chosen by the president. And then the other 140 were chosen by...
Were chosen by a committee. Yes, this committee was assigned by the president. So all of them were chosen by the president. Okay.
So in the news, it was framed as this was a beginning of getting back to more of a democracy, and whether it will be or not. Do you think it will go in that direction or no?
Actually, they are going in the direction of fascism, not about
for
the democracy,
fascism.
Totalitarianism in some way.
Yeah.
Why? Because there's no election up till now in Syria. This is the first point. The military or the force that govern the country, all of them are loyal to the president, and all of them are jihadi boys. The third point, up till now, nobody of the government can say easily the word democracy. They don't want to pronounce the word democracy. Only the foreign minister and in the States said that said the word, could utter it. But in Syria, nobody speak about democracy.
Okay.
And before al-Shara came from Idlib to Damascus, 2 years before coming to Damascus, he said there were many signs in Idlib. One of these signs is the democracy is against us, and we are against it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, many signs against democracy because it's exported. It's not our religion. It's not our ideas. People export it from the West.
Right.
So I don't think that they are going to build the basis of state of law. Up till now, they are laid the basis of a kind of more than dictatorship. Actually, they are nearer to the fascist experiences, especially in Iran and Germany, like Nazi and like al-Khomeini, what al-Khomeini laid in Iran.
So he does not tolerate any opposition or people saying things against him, is what you're saying, right?
Well, actually, in the social media, many people and many Sunni people are against him because they are supporting state of law. They are supporting to be citizens altogether. They are supporting the idea that anybody can be a candidate to be a president. Now the president should be Muslim Sunni in the constitution he
okay.
put. Yeah, and they are speaking about what's happened as a big problem for establishing a kind of secular regime.
Secular regime.
Secular regime, yes. It's not easy for the Syrians who fought against Bashar al-Assad to find a new copy of Bashar al-Assad. And it might be worse.
Well, that was my next question. If we say that currently al-Shara has control of most of Syria,
yes.
There's a couple of places where he doesn't.
Yeah.
Compare him and the current situation to al-Assad, to Bashar, and is his situation better than Bashar al-Assad's situation? The country, is it in a better position now than then, or is it still too early to tell?
Well, actually, up till now, it is not. Now, the country may divided into three pieces. And in the south, there's a kind of Syrian land occupied by Israel, Golani Heights and whatever. Now Israel moved more to the north. That means they occupy more lands of the Syrian lands, and they have better conditions to make whatever they want in the negotiations with al-Shara. Al-Shara want to negotiate with Israel just to keep his position as a president. Mm-hmm. He doesn't actually defend the country. He doesn't defend the land or the people or whatever. He defends the chair he is sitting on. This is the problem of... in this aspect, he looks like Bashar al-Assad. Bashar al-Assad, the main thing for Bashar al-Assad was the chair.
Stay in power.
But look, I'll tell you something. In the first 11 years, the people who were killed in Syria at the time of Bashar al-Assad were less than 100 people for political issues or for whatever. But in the first 3 months of ruling of Ahmad al-Shara, there were killed hundreds of people, 1,700 in the coast from the Alawites, more than 3,000 in the south. He is not ruling Syria for a year now.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were killed.
Yeah.
And at the same time, kidnapping and special ideas like, I have the right to rule Syria because I liberate it from al-Assad. And then what about the Syrians? If you liberate me, I have to subject to you. You to subject me to, to obligate me to do whatever you want. And actually, up till now, things are going in the direction that Syria is not better than it was.
Yeah.
And 14 years of fighting of many Syrians against Bashar al-Assad as if they are lost. One man take everything, invest all that struggle against al-Assad, and establish a new kind of totalitarian.
Yeah. Let's move to the new book. This is something that some of this you wrote when you were in prison.
Right.
And the book is called Princess Nye and Other Stories.
Right.
Right. And it's a collection of different stories that you put together.
Right.
And it's quite a departure from the first book, from My Road from Damascus. So how would you describe this new book to our listeners?
Well, actually, first you will find the imagination of a prisoner. How the imagination is a very important factor in building up a short story. Second, what kind of hope and what kind of upset a human being lives. What kind of strengths and what kind of weakness. Sometimes, you feel that you looks like a horse who can jump from the South Pole to the North Pole. And sometimes you feel that you are as insect, couldn't live and couldn't die. Mm-hmm. This book actually get to the inside world of the human being, especially in the stories which written in the prison. At the same time, it speaks a lot about love and the needs of a human being, the spiritual needs. Mm-hmm. And I collect stories from different stages of my life just to show the development of the way of telling a story and how sometimes we have something surreal, and something so real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surreal and real. Yeah. Okay.
So actually, some stories you can describe them as real stories, and some stories are a kind of imagined world, but based on a very hard facts. Yes. Mm-hmm. This is something about the book. The book is a kind of poetry and the stories together. The poetic aspect is not the language. It's not a poetic language. It's a poetic scene. Sometimes,
poetic language versus a poetic scene.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sometimes, actually, once I think Gabriel Garcia Marquez said that writing novel is a poetic vision. So it's not important for him to show that the death of Jose Arcadio in 100 Years of Isolation was a great event. He said that the trucks came to take the flowers from the roads. Then the trees, you can conclude that the trees cried their roses and laid them on the streets. This is what I depend on to build many scenes on my book, especially in prison. In prison, you have enough time to weave things and to think about them in different aspects. And this is,
So there's a lot of imagery in this book.
Right.
And like you said before, so you're in prison, which is a hard fact.
Yeah.
And it's not a nice place to be.
Right.
But some of the stories have lovely passages in them which describe the world around you.
Right.
And I'm wondering how you manage that when you're in prison in a very negative place and you're trying to talk about something that's very positive, the world around you outside the prison. How do you, like you were in prison for 12 years, so how do you do that?
Yeah, actually, Dave, it was a kind of escaping. It was a kind of healing yourself.
Right.
It was a kind of thinking the world is not only this spot, not only this cell. Mm-hmm. The world is wider. So you are going to notice that many stories that written in prison were about the people out of prison, mm-hmm. not about the prisoners. Yeah. Some stories, mention to the prisoners, but speak about the life outside the prison. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other thing, actually, I wanted I wanted to feel that I am living. Days are not the same. So I depended on, in my memoir, in my imagination, and create a word, create different word from the world I'm living in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was curious about something else as you were writing this book and getting ready to publish this version of the book. Mm-hmm. And when you wrote the stories when you were in prison or even after, yes, I assumed that you are not writing in English.
Right.
You were writing in Arabic?
Right.
Okay. How did you manage the transition from Arabic to English? I imagine you working with a translator.
That's right.
To find the right words to describe something that may be very much Arabic but not Western. Were there any circumstances where you had to make a change?
Yeah, actually, I didn't change any main thing of the stories. I didn't change the style or the word. But what's happened? Catherine Copham, she's the head of Arabic department in St. Andrews University in Scotland. And she's a great lady, actually. I met her first in my road from Damascus. I wrote the 3 chapters in English, and then I felt that I can express myself in Arabic better than English.
Yeah.
I continued in Arabic and searched online and find a lady translated the most important writers in Arabic. And I sent her an email and sampled chapters. She sent me an email, made me cry. She said that I'm going to translate these chapters or sampled chapters for the eyes of Syria. I don't need any money. Mm-hmm. Yeah? And she commented a very, very encouraging comments. And then I complete the book and send it to Catherine. And even when I want to give her money, she said, I don't want. No, you will have. This not happened so much in these days.
No, yeah.
And
somebody
later,
doing something
when
for free. Yeah.
Some of these stories, some of Princess Nai and other stories collection, were published in Arabic. Then I sent them to Catherine. Catherine loved the stories and translated them and sent them to me. I read the English stories, put my notes, turn them back. She put her notes. We discussed them again. And then we could, both of us, could have the English version in it's a form between your hands now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually it is the same Arabic, but sometimes the language, the different language means different ways of expressions. There's a kind of parallel between Arabic and English. They are not the same exactly.
But sometimes they are.
Of course.
In terms of the images.
Course.
Yeah.
We tried our best to make it exactly as the Arabic word. Yeah. But, there are some jokes depended on pronunciation of words. Mm-hmm. Then when the word changed, the joke lost its meaning or its function.
I want to take a couple of the stories, and I'll tell you first of all that I have never been a big reader of poetry, personally.
Yeah.
But I chose a couple of stories. One of them was the title story, Princess Nai, yes. And describe that story for us. So, you describe it because you wrote it.
Okay.
So give us an overview of what you're doing with this particular story.
Yeah, the story goes like that. A child thinks that a raid is a princess of many raids.
Raids.
Raids,
okay.
Yes. Then he stole the knife of the kitchen of his mom and cut it. And then his grandpa made a flute, an eye, The nai is a musical instrument made out of this reed, and the boys wanted the nai for himself. And then there's a story. There's a kind of friendship between the boy and the nai. They grow together. He went to the university and take the nai with him. And suddenly, when the intelligence wanted to arrest him because of some pamphlets, they broke the nai. After a time, he was released and went again to the same place where the reeds are growing up. But now he couldn't find the princess. He couldn't find his grandpa. He lost something. What is lost is not always we can find the alternate of it. Yeah, alternative thing for it. So actually I want to say that they stole, the intelligence or the government stole very important thing from that man. They stole his past. They stole the lovely thing. Yeah. Not only the time in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, in different places, the story at some places show what is the meaning of friendship between a human being and a musical instrument. Mm-hmm. So for some time, he felt that guts get out of the holes of that flute. And they do something near a river. Yeah. This is a special relation. The others are not going to feel that. He told the nai all his story, his love story. When a girl break up with him, he told the nai. And they cried together.
Yeah. Now the nai is an Arabic word for the flute or for
yes,
the reed?
For flute.
For flute.
For
okay.
flute, yes.
So that makes sense now.
Yeah.
So part of what I read in this too was that when he had the flute and tried to play it at the beginning, he could not play it nicely or properly. Right. And it was just until he started thinking in a certain way that the music came right out of his soul or into the flute, and it sounded very appealing to his mother and to all the people around him. Right. Correct?
Correct,
Do I have
of course.
That? Okay.
And then at the beginning, his mom asked him not to whistle. Later, she asked him to play on the night. He felt that he told the stories for the others. They know it, but they heard the music and loved it because the music told them their stories.
Reminded them of their stories.
Remind them of themselves.
Right.
And sometimes the nai threw the stories in the sky of the city. And then the music moved on the sky of the city as the young man imagined. Yeah.
The other chapter I wanted to get you to talk a little bit about was the olive tree. The story about the olive tree.
Yes.
What's that one about?
Well, actually, the olive tree shows the people who are, who control the country, use the life of things as their own things. There were a special olive tree. Some people say that it's as old as Noah.
As Noah.
Yes.
From the ark.
Yeah, and yes. And some people said that the old Syrians or old Syrian princes throw a piece of olive and then this tree grow up. Yeah, it's a kind of legend. It's so big,
yeah.
Legend, so big, and nobody on it. It's for all people. It's shadow, it's olive, it's everything on it for the all people.
It doesn't matter where it's growing, it belongs to
yeah.
everybody.
But an officer who dealt with, who sent his son to study in the West universities, turned back, the boy of the officer turned back to the country with a Western lady, and they studied art. And they cut the tree to make a kind of, not a chair, what we call it, couch. Yeah?
A bench.
A bench, yes.
Bench, yeah.
A kind of bench, and put it at the villa of the father, as if they bring the village to his villa, as they own the history, they own the past, and they own the future.
So they cut the tree down to make a bench and
cutting
moved
the
it,
tree
yeah.
was a very, very symbolic thing, and at the same time show what was going on really by many officers in Syria and in the Middle East. They cut the history, and they prevent the future, the good future to come. Yeah. So the living tree is something.
There are a lot of other stories in this book. What do you hope people get out of reading this book?
Well, actually, I'd like them to enjoy discovering the atmosphere the stories were written in. I'd like them to share the writer, the experience and the questions, and to find and enjoy the poetic vision and the human being will, the human being strength, the human being hope in different world. And it's, for me, good for everybody to know what kind of pain and what kind of upset many people lives in different places all over the world.
Yeah.
And how they resist. How did this writer resist the circumstances he was living in?
It's very difficult for people in the West to understand what people in the Middle East or in Africa or in the Far East are going through or have gone through. But it's books like this or writers like you who help us understand what's going on. Now, after you've just published this book is being published this month.
Yes.
And hopefully it will sell many copies.
Hope so.
Hope so. What's coming up for you in the future in terms of writing? Do you have a book that you're working on right now?
Yeah, actually, now I'm writing a novel. It's about a lady, Armenian lady, who was obligated to throw his baby in the river, Euphrates River. And actually, I mentioned this novel in my road from Damascus. I wrote this novel in prison, and I spent 5 years and 6 months writing it. The 5th draft was good for me, good enough to be published. And the prisoners who read it show that, wow. But the guards took this novel and threw it in the garbage.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm writing this novel, but actually I'm not the same person. I'm in Canada, not in prison. And the circumstances are different, the conditions are different.
Yeah. So you're rewriting the same novel?
Yes, I'm rewriting the novel. Something is stable. The main story is stable. But the style is different, the language is different. Many things will differ. Yeah. And sometimes I think that I may say something about writing this novel in prison. So one title might be The Novel.
Well, I'm sure people who are fans of yours are looking forward to that novel. whenever it comes out. And again, I want to thank you very much for your time and all the best with the new book.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Dave.
My thanks to Jamal Saeed for returning to the Kingstonian and for sharing both reflection and creativity with us today. If you'd like to explore his work, My Road from Damascus and the new collection, Princess Snai and Other Stories, are both available through major booksellers. And if you haven't heard our first conversation back in 2023, you can find it on my website. Just search his name. As always, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend and consider rating and subscribing wherever you get your podcasts. It helps others discover the show. This episode was recorded in October of 2025. I'll be back soon with another conversation.
The theme music for the podcast is Stasis Oasis, written and performed by Kingston musician Tim Aylesworth. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions about any of the episodes, please send a note to the KingstonianPodcast@gmail.com. For details on upcoming guests, follow us on Facebook. The Kingstonian Podcast is hosted by Dave Cunningham and produced in Kingston, Ontario, Canada.